This is my son Everest. He's nearly 5 years old and will be going to kindergarten soon. It's had me thinking a lot about what he will learn, but especially what he won't be learning. Thinking back to my own education, I went to schools in 5 countries on 3 continents. The main focus of my education was above the neck. What was below the neck was pretty unknown to me. What I knew a lot about was the external world of performance, comparison, achievement, and being perfect. I knew very little about myself, managing my emotions, how to have a great relationship, let alone what was worth doing with this life. And yet all the suffering that comes with life creates pain in the heart and the spirit. Did my education help me with finding work that I loved, a death in the family, that big breakup, or finding what I wanted to do with my life? Life skills are always secondary to traditional education. Why? UNICEF defines life skills as abilities that enable individuals to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. Teaching technology and developing the mind are amazing, but what about the development of the heart and the spirit? What about our ability to navigate change? What about being outside and in nature? None of these are the focus of our school education. Sitting does not equal learning. Is our consciousness keeping up? So my journey showed me something quite different. After attending top universities and nearly a decade in the corporate world, I found myself managing a $500 million venture capital fund for one of the largest media companies of the world here in New York City. And I thought I had the relationship box ticked off too, since I was engaged. I had everything my education had told me to go after that would make me happy, and yet I wasn't. My inner world felt very empty. I felt disconnected from my own truth. So after a little while, I finally listened to my intuition, what I call my inner microphone, that had been talking to me for a while. And this is what it had to say. Ariane, you're in the wrong job. Ariane, you're in the wrong relationship. And so I finally left both. Since then, I've spent more than a decade helping adults with life skills through writing books, coaching, and speaking. And what I see over and over is this. So many of our wounds as grown-ups trace back to when we were kids. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton, perceptions acquired before the age of 6 become the fundamental subconscious programs that shape the character of an individual's life. Young kids make conclusions about everything: how smart they are, what they should do with their life, success, their bodies, who they are, girls, boys, but especially how lovable they are. Teenage suicide, depression, anxiety, ADHD, bullying. Our minds have nearly become numb to these words and these statistics. Bottom line is, our kids aren't doing well and they're not happy. And yet, talking about happiness, you ask any parent anywhere in the world, and all they want for their kids is to be happy. But we're not focused on that goal. We're not helping our kids with being happy. Instead, we project lack onto them. Everything becomes about performance. They learn that they're not good enough. What do they do with that message? What did so many of us do? We cut ourselves off from our inner world. We only focus on the outside. We don't laugh anymore. Tears are repressed or hidden. Dancing is put on hold until we can smoke and drink at the same time. Love is never talked about. If we raise our kids to be perfect, we will create a generation of sad kids. So social and emotional skills are now the buzz inside companies. When I teach them, I call them soft skills for grown-ups. Somehow we all seem to have missed those when we were younger. My hope and my mission is to help educate kids below the neck, to focus on their heart and their spirit, their true self within, to show any parent and any adult that has the privilege and the responsibility of bringing up our tiny humans, that we need to urgently fill them up with these softer skills, life skills, and make them at least as important as academic excellence. So how do we build our kids up and not tear them down? How do we prepare them for the world that's coming? I'd like to suggest 3 life skills that I think we all need, not just children, because we as adults need to be the examples for our kids. We need to show them what an amazing life worth living for looks like. So the first is what I've called humanity skills. We need to teach kids to have a kind mind, one that's free of all the self-criticism, self-blame, self-disapproval that they feel, one where they don't have to be perfect, one where they can make mistakes, one where they know about self-compassion, self-forgiveness. We need to teach kids to generosity skills, where they can do their share to help the world and their fellow beings, where it's not all about them. We need to connect them to something greater than themselves and their own egos. Some people call this spirituality, religion. You can call it nature. The second category is what I call emotional skills. Emotionally, our kids aren't doing very well. We need to help them feel their emotions. Let them be angry. Let them cry and be sad. Let them be scared. Ask them more about their inner world, not only their outer world. Teach them the magic phrase, I need help. So many of us as adults and so many kids, they feel like they're alone when they're going through something. Get them out of their head, back into their body. Get them moving again. Show them the amazing power of the breath, that the breath can help them calm down when they're feeling stressed. And teach them about intuition. Most parents have never mentioned the word intuition to their children. Teach them that they have an inner guidance system within them that can help them at all times, especially to make great decisions. And finally, what I call change skills, or adaptability skills. Change is the #1 guarantee in life, and yet we never teach it to our children. Do not protect your kids from change. Show them that something good can come from any change, that even positivity is a skill that can be learned. Develop resiliency within your children. Let them experience things being hard, not getting what they want, having to be patient. Let them be disappointed. And finally, be present with your children, not with all the plans that you have for their life and your own. So I'd love my son Everest to learn to code, and I'm sure he probably will. And I also believe that these softer, creative, emotional skills are skills that every child is going to need for the world that's coming. Life is the hardest exam that my son is ever going to have to take. And for that one, he's going to need more of his heart, his faith, his courage, and his determination to pass. Thank you.